ating mundo. Hayaan mong maglaro ang bata sa araw. Kapag umulan na may magtatampisaw, mahirap man o may kaya, mabuti kayo manggig. At kahit ano mang uri ka pa sa iyong mundo, pagbata ka.
Learn to read, read to learn.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is our pleasure to welcome all of you to our virtual symposium, Read to Learn, Learn to Read, with the theme of Reading is a skill that leads to adventure and makes all learning possible.
Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you who generously help us to make this event come together to become a success. Especially to our advisor, Sir Charles Vincent Solitaria, and to my fellow student, thank you so much.
Thank you. Before we start, let me call on Team Cesar Foster for his opening prayer.
Let's bow our heads and place ourselves in the presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, we stand before you in humble prayer before we start with this program. We realize that without your blessings, we will not be able to succeed with the plans you have for this activity. Bestow your grace and divine wisdom to all of us present here, so we could cooperate and enjoy camaraderie and love for the greater glory of your name. Bless also those we have left behind in our homes, and bless all people around the globe that they may enjoy peace and the goodness of your love. We ask all this through your mighty name, Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen.
To lead the children of God and glorify His name, to nurture them in Christ-centered ways and agents of social transformation, committed to fellow Bicolanos, the future and us bestowed, imbued with Christian spirit, a beacon of hope and opportunity. Hail, hail, dear alma mater, Yobel Christian Academy. Thy loyalty is pledged to you as the torchlight on our way. Hail, hail, dear alma mater, Yobel Christian Academy. Thy virtues guide us on our way towards the future that unfolds. For quality and excellence is thy fellowship with God, nurturing and honing young minds as citizens and hope of our nation. Christian Academy. Thy loyalty is pledged to you as thy torchlight on our way. Hail, hail, dear alma mater, Yobel Christian Academy. Thy virtues guide us on our way towards the future that unfolds. The wisdom and camaraderie will forever be in our minds. The joy and our good memories will forever be in our hearts.
Before we start our program, let me call on J.R. Nava for his opening remark.
Good day, everyone, especially to our principal, Mr. Jason Cashel, to our heads, faculties, and staff. Down to my dear classmates, I would like to greet all of you a wonderful and pleasant day. I am J.R. Nava, a student of UL Christian Academy, welcoming all of you to our grand event this school year 2020-2021, focusing on this year's topic, Learn to Read, Read to Learn. Due to worldwide pandemic, sadly we're not allowed to do this event inside our school. But we have this online platform so that we can still continue this very important event in the midst of this global crisis. So just sit down, chill and relax without any further ado. Let's us now start this event. Thank you.
We are honored to introduce to all of you the speakers for today's virtual symposium.
Our first speaker, he is a cum laude graduate with a degree of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Physical Science. Let's welcome Mr. Nestor Villanueva Jr.
Good day. Before we start, I would like to extend my gratitude to the UBEL Christian Academy Incorporated for inviting me to be one of their resource speakers in the activity Read to Learn, Learn to Read. Reading is a skill that leads to adventure and makes all learning possible. Okay, allow me to share my screen. So to start the discussion for today, I would like to ask you with this question. I have here different individuals named Bill Gates, Phil Knight, the famous Mark Zuckerberg, Oprah Winfrey, and Elon Musk, Warren, and then Mark Cuban. So you might think, you know these individuals, right? So the question is, what are their similarities? Think, what are their similarities? Maybe you can think that their similarities, number one, is that they are billionaire. Yes, you are correct. They are celebrities also, they are celebrities. And they are famous individuals. They are influencers. But you know, there is one thing that I would like to share to you, that they have commonalities or they have similarities that is unique to each of them. And you know what is their similarities? That is, they all love reading. Because that's our topic for today. That is, learn to read and read to learn. Because I believe that in reading, we can learn everything. Yes, kaya natin matutunan ng lahat through reading. So, even though they might have different similarities, these individuals, but their commonalities is that they all love reading. Okay. One day, Bill Gates was asked by an MC in a television, if you'll be given a chance to select a superpower, what would it be and why? Okay, what would it be and why? So before I tell you the answer of Bill Gates, I would like to ask you and put it into context. Like, for example, if you are Bill Gates, you were asked by an MC in the television, what superpower you would choose and why? Okay, maybe some of you might choose you want to be invisible, right? You want to fly like Voltes 5. You want also have super strength like Hulk. And then you want also to be strong like Superman. You want to be intelligent like Einstein, for example. and you might choose any power. But you know what? What's interesting about Bill Gates? When Bill Gates was asked which kind of superpower he would like to have, surprisingly he said, "I wish I could read faster." Yun yung gusto ni Bill Gates, di ba? Alam natin si Bill Gates, Microsoft, the CEO, the famous Microsoft. And he said that, you know, so ang gusto ni Bill Gates is magkaroon siya ng superpower to read faster. Kasi, di ba, marami na siya na-publish na books. And one of his hobbies is, reading. Okay. Before we start to the formal content knowledge-based discussion, I want you to be inspired by this. Because you know what? If you want to become successful, like Bill Gates, Phil Knight, Mark Zuckerberg, Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, Warren Barnett, and all other professional, there is so-called imitation. Diba? Theory of imitation. Like, kung gusto mo daw maging successful, gayahin mo daw yung mga successful din na tao. Okay. And kung i-imitate mo sila, ang gawin mo din kung ano yung mga ginagawa nila. And one of their similarities is reading. Ang question, may mga nagbabasa po ba sa inyo? That's definitely one of the question. Okay. Kasi ang iba sa atin, gusto natin is yung mga multimedia. Like for example, merong audio, merong video. Pero for example, kapag sa ano lang kasi sa pag-reading, meron din tayong pure text. Pero meron din naman mga multimedia na gumagamit ng audio, etc. Like mga e-books. Okay. I want you to be inspired by these individuals on how they are using reading as one of their keystone to success. Like for example, Bill Gates, the former Microsoft CEO, has attested to reading 50 books a year, or roughly one book a week. And most of the books that he is reading is about nonfiction dealing with public health, disease, engineering, business, and science. So that is Bill Gates. So that is the story of Bill Gates with regards to reading. Like the next one is the famous Mark Zuckerberg, who the vision of Facebook is to connect the people across the globe. Okay, across the globe. So natin yung vision niya. And one of the key stories reading. So sinabi niya is, with an emphasis of learning about different cultures, beliefs, histories, and technology. So sabi niya, in 2015, the CEO vowed to read one book every other week. So ang paninindigan naman ni Mark Zuckerberg is you can learn everything through reading. Mapag-aaralan mo daw yung cultures, beliefs, histories, and technologies through reading. So ibig sabihin pala, the cheapest way para matravel mo ang globe is through reading. Hindi ka gagastos, diba? Babasa ka lang. So kaya mong puntahan ng, for example, at least 170 countries across the globe. So kaya mong puntahan through reading lang. So mapag-aaralan ba yung culture nila, beliefs, histories. And one of the advantage is cost-effective. Hindi ka masyadong gagastos. Or hindi ka magagastos kahit sentimo sa pagbabasa lang. Like for example, humingi ka lang ng book sa kapatid mo, sa pinsan mo, sa klase mo. So you can travel actually the globe sa pagbabasa lang. Next one is Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban. Ang sinasabi niya is, everything I read was public. Ibig sabihin daw, kung ano man yung nababasa ng general public, is yun din daw yung binabasa niya. But the difference is, more on reflection si Mark Cuban. So hindi lang siya read, more on reflection. Ibig sabihin, kung ano man yung nabasa niya, he asked himself, where can I apply this particular readings or lesson that he learned from a text, and that's it. Yeah, the Dallas Mavericks owner Mike Cuban said that everything I read was public. He wrote in his blog Success and Motivation series. Next one is, sino dito mga mahilig sa sapatos? So yan. So, Phil Knight, the Nike founder, kept the library behind executive office so sacred. So, meron siyang library sa likod ng kanyang executive office na sagrado. So, pag prove na sagrado siya, so lahat ng mga papasok doon is dapat tatanggalin yung sapatos at magbabaw. So, how Phil Knight is appreciating and give value to his library, because the library contains books, and books might think that it is very important to Phil Knight. Next Oprah Winfrey. So since 1996, the veteran talk show host has been advising her viewers reading habits with Oprah's book club. So ang sinasabi niya ni Winfrey has called reading her personal path to freedom. So ibig sabihin daw, ginagamit niya yung reading as, as a relative way of how to attain that kind of relative freedom. Next one is Warren Buffett. So the Berkshire Hathaway magnate reportedly spends 5 to 6 hours a day reading 5 different newspapers. So imagine, 5 to 6 hours per day ang binabasa niya. Kasi, di ba, sa magazines, madami kang makikita dyan na different kinds of informations, entertainment, maybe news, for example. So it contains a lot of content knowledge that we might learn something out of it. Next, so sino mo naman hindi makakilala sa CEO ng Tesla. And even before he co-founded PayPal, a young Elon Musk was reading science fiction novels for up to 10 hours a day. Grabe, no? So almost 40+% ng day niya he spent on reading books, di ba? Almost 40+% of his day. I also love science fiction books I also love science fiction books na magbasa kasi a lot of interesting ideas about science fiction. At the same time, it can be used. Like, for example, I had major in physics. So, ako talaga mahilig ako sa science fiction. Kasi sa science fiction is, they are applying the laws of physics, and at the same time, it could be used on theoretical basis on how we deal with day-to-day basis. Okay po. Now I'm going to present to you the interesting facts about reading. So, the numerous benefits of reading include the following. So, 43% of readers said reading helps them get better night's sleep. So, ano ibig sabihin nito? Kung kayo naman is, hirap mo kayong matulog sa gabi. Kasi bago kayo matulog, cellphone, Facebook, Mobile Legends, etc., etc. So, kung hirap mo kayong matulog, so, ang gawin niyo is to reading, okay? Kasi, based on statistics, 43% says that reading helps them to get deeper sleep. Next, adults reading for just 30 minutes, okay, a week reported higher creativity. Okay, in comparison to non-readers, so 37% lang, pero yung mga nagbabasa is merong creativity na 48. Okay, next one is 58% of readers said that reading lets them escape from the real world. So, sino dito yung gusto ng ayaw na sa totoong buhay? So, since meron tayong mga science fiction movies, science fiction books, so, you can escape actually to the real world. So, experiencing the unrealistic things about the world. Next. So, last one is readers were found to be 27% better able to make time for friends, perhaps as they were 10% more capable of planning and prioritizing. So maybe you can find friends through reading books. Reading for 6 minutes a day reduces stress by 68%. So, di ba? Kasi di ba meron mga kilig factor about reading, may mga inspiring stories, thrilling stories. So maybe you can find some interesting facts about this. So it may reduce the stress by 68%. Ako rin mga said that. Okay, now, if you will ask me the facts about literature, so the most popular books of all time based on net sales, okay po? So, rank 5th, the Quran with 450 million. Next one is the King James Bible with 500 million. And the quotations from Chairman Mao Zedong, that is 800 million. And then we have Don Quixote, that is 2.5 billion, and the last one is Harry Potter series, which is umabot siya ng 3 billion. Okay, I want you to be inspired by the story of Harry Potter. You know, who is the author of the famous series Harry Potter? The author of that is J.K. Rowling. Okay, ang story of J.K. Rowling is that nag-apply siya sa mga publication, okay, at least 12 times, and 12 times siyang na-reject. So, ibig sabihin, yung stories about Harry Potter is na-reject ng mga publication companies for 12 times. But you know, the dedication, the commitment, the passion, and the discipline of J.K. Rowling, sinabi niya na hindi siya susuko and still humanap siya ng publication company to be able to publish her works about the Harry Potter. And luckily, as stepping stone, nagbunga naman yung paghihirap niya. Because, you know, right now, the Harry Potter is the most pinakamarami siyang net sales in books. So that is the Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. So, kung kagaya nyo, so hindi lang dapat susuko, di ba? Kung nag-fail ka for at least 5 times, 10 times, hindi ka magsusuko kasi dapat si J.K. Rowling nga, di ba? At least 12 times siyang nag-fail. But still, hindi siya nawalan ng pag-asa. And, yan, nagbunga, di ba? Kasi siya na yung pinaka-madaming sales because of Harry Potter books. Now, I have already presented to you the importance of reading books and how we are going to use on day-to-day basis and what are the benefits based on the statistics of reading books. Now naman is, I will going to share to you the essential components of reading. So, based on the National Reading Panel Report on 2000, there are 5 essential components of reading. Namely, number 1 is phonemic awareness, 2, phonics, 3, fluency, 4, vocabulary, and the last one is the text comprehension. So we're going to discuss this one by one. So when you say phonemic awareness, so it's all about sounds. Yun lang yung tatandaan nyo. The awareness of the speech sounds in words. So ang keyword natin dito is sounds. So kapag sinabi natin phonemic awareness, sounds. Phonemic awareness, sounds. Sounds, phonemic awareness. Sounds, phonemic awareness. So we're able to ability to manipulate sounds, segment phonemes, and blend phonemes. And remember that the most important part of phonemic awareness is phonemes are the smallest units of sound. So, ibig sabihin, pag smallest units na siya, hindi mo na siya pwedeng mag-break down. So, ibig sabihin, indestructible na siya and indivisible na siya. Because phonemes are the smallest units of sound. So, below is my reference on how I'm able to get this kind of presentation. Next one is phonics. What do we mean by phonics? Yung si phonics, ang pag-aaral natin dito is letters. So, these are the alphabetic principles. So, nung bata pa tayo, di ba, yung elementary, or nung elementary kayo is pinakanta sa atin ng A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc., etc. So, what kind of, kung ano man yung kind of, harmony, etc., etc. Basta pagtatandaan naman natin sa phonics is that it's all about letters. And that letters represents sound. So, yun yung natandaan natin kapag phonics is that it is an awareness of letters and that letters represent sounds. So, ang ibig sabihin ng phonics in its definition term is graphophonemic relationships, okay po, or sound-symbol relationships. So, yun natandaan natin, sound-symbol relationships. Letters and sound-symbol relationships. Next one is fluency. What do we mean by fluency? Fluency in terms of skill, that is the ability to read accurately at an appropriate rate with prosody and comprehension. What do we mean by that? So, nakaranas na ba kayo sa Pilipino ng sabayang pagbasa? So, yung sabayang pagbasa is isang halimbawa yun ng fluency. So, may ability ka na to read accurately with appropriate rate, with prosody and comprehension. Alam mo na yung tempo, yung bilis, yung bagal, yung tamang pagbigay ng expression, yung pag-analyze ng mga quotation marks. So, alam mo yan. That is the skill on reading. That is what we call the fluency. Next one. What do we mean by vocabulary? Vocabulary in terms of word study. Okay, pinag-aaralan mo na ngayon yung mga words to increase word knowledge. What do we mean by word knowledge? It means that alam mo yung definition, yung thesaurus, or yung thesaurus ng particular word. So, may content knowledge ka sa word. Kasi, di ba, ang isa sa mga problema natin is, minsan hindi natin naiintindihan yung binabasa natin kasi we lack understanding of the particular word. Kung ano yung meaning na that kind of particular word. Next one is word consciousness. Ano ba yung word consciousness? Ibig sabihin ng word consciousness is kung paano ginagamit yung mga salita sa sentence or sa expression, kung paano ginagamit yung sa salita. Next one is words for life. What do we mean by words for life? It means that on how we actually apply words in a particular day-to-day basis, conversation or day-to-day basis experience, kung paano nyo ginagamit sa buhay or a different kind of context level. Next one is academic language. So, we study words to increase academic language. Ganito yun. Like for example, kung senior high kayo, you're starting to make a research or an academic research. Kasi sa research, hindi basta-basta gumagamit ng words kung hindi siya appropriate. So we study word or to increase the vocabulary to also increase the academic language. Kasi may mga tinatawag na formal writing. So yung sa formal writing, ginagamit mo dito yung mga research-based na word that is appropriate. Kasi sa research or sa formal conversation, like or another example with this one is that kapag gumagawa tayo ng letter, so formal letter. So dapat sa formal letter, gumagamit tayo ng mga formal words then to actually convey a message to our audience or to our responder. And the most and vocabulary is also important to increase the reading comprehension. And the next one is the reading comprehension. What we mean by reading comprehension? Comprehension in a way that it is an understanding, making meaning of text. So kapag sinabi natin good reader applies strategies before, during, and after reading, including. So ano yung ibig sabihin ng before? So ibig sabihin, bago tayo magbasa, ina-activate na natin yung prior knowledge natin. That is before. Next one is during. Habang tayo nagbabasa, nalalaman natin kung ano yung mga relationships ng mga words para makabuo tayo ng meaning. And afterwards is, after reading, nagkakaroon na tayo ng comprehension. Di ba may mga check your comprehension at the end ng mga stories or short stories na binabasa natin. Now, to make it more substantial, I'm going to present to you how they are able to apply their knowledge in the comprehension level. Next, first one is the activate prior knowledge. Ano yung prior knowledge? That is the schema. Ibig sabihin, pag sinabi natin, ina-activate natin yung prior knowledge natin is we use our knowledge before or yung mga stock knowledge natin or our wisdom, our experiences in a particular context. Like for example, bago natin basahin yung story, binabasa muna natin yung title. Like you read a title which is about the beautiful woman, so ma-activate yung prior knowledge mo dito that the main character of this might be a woman which is in a physical characteristics might be beautiful inside her out. Like for example, kapag may nabasa naman kayo ng title which is about the poor family, so ibig sabihin, ma-activate yung prior knowledge mo that this kind of family are unprivileged, di ba? They lack resources, they lack money, for example. So kaya nga poor family. So na-activate yung prior knowledge mo. Next one is set a purpose for reading. Ano ba yung purpose mo for reading? Is that for entertainment or nagbabasa ka because you want to answer something? So that is the purpose for reading. Like for example, magbabasa ka ng mga related literature and related studies. So nagbabasa ka because you want to study kung ano man yung mga napag-aralan na before for your research, kung ano man yung mga existing studies, and for example, what are the gap need to be bridged. So may purpose ka for reading. So depende yun kung ano yung purpose mo for reading. Next one is monitor their understanding. Ano ba yung monitor their understanding? It means that after mong magbasa, kailangan mong i-monitor kung naintindihan pa nila yung binasa nila. Through what? So, meron tayong mga tinatawag na reading comprehension at the end of the story. So, yun, at the end of the essay. Another tip is ganito. Diba, kapag sa high school or even sa college, pinapabasa tayo ng stories. And then, kapag nagbasa na tayo ng stories, at the end nun, is merong reading comprehension check. Ibig sabihin, meron din mga set of questions para i-check talaga kung naintindihan mo yung stories. So, ibig sabihin pala, ang ginagawa natin is, babasahin mo na yung stories, or for example, a novel or a poem, bago natin basahin yung question. Ito, ang may tip ako sa inyo. So, to save time, and para mas wise, yung strategy nyo is, babalik ta rin natin ngayon yung norms ng society, or norms ng mga student. Ang gagawin natin is tip ko sa inyo is, ang dapat na ginagawa is, binabasa muna po ang question, okay? Binabasa muna ang question bago natin basahin yung story. Kapag binasa na natin yung question, may mga nakakalimutan ka. That's why, babasahin mo na naman ulit dun sa story. Pero kapag binasa mo muna yung question, bago mo basahin yung story, ang nangyayari is, nasiset mo yung mind mo kung ano yung mga hanapin sa story. Like, for example, ang question is, who are the characters of the story? So, ibig sabihin pala, habang nagbabasa ka, alam mo na kung yung mga kung sino-sino yung mga characters ng story. Like, another question is, what is the moral lesson of the story? So, dun pa lang, habang nagbabasa ka, is nalalaman mo na kung ano yung moral lesson ng story. What's the conflict of the story? So, hinahanapin mo na kaagad doon. Para naka-detailed na sa mind mo kung ano yung mga hinahanap mo dun sa story. Ang tawag dun is, begin with an end in mind. So, magsisimula ka sa dulo. Ano ba yung dulo? Yung purpose. Ano yung purpose mo? Sagutan yung tanong. Kaya magsisimula ka, begin with an end, magsimula ka dun sa tanong. Okay? Ang tawag doon is begin with an end in mind. Yun yung objective mo, which is sagutan yung tanong. Kaya magsisimula ka sa tanong mo na. Ulitin ko kapag nagbabasa po ng mga short story, ang unang binabasa is question. After ng question is yung story. Okay po? Para mas maganda yung experience natin sa pagbabasa. Okay. Next one is use piece-up strategies and paraphrase and summary. Ang ibig sabihin nito is, kapag nagbasa tayo, okay, nabasa natin, di ba? So, magkaroon tayo ng free writing. And after natin mag-free writing, is i-summarize natin kung ano yung mga nabasa natin para easy to understand. Ang mga sinusulat ng is keywords and important details ng mga nangyari dun sa story, for example. Or for example, kapag entertainment, ano lang yung pinaka-highlights dun sa binasa mo. That is the comprehension level. That is more an understanding and making meaning of text. Now, we're going to present to you the reading rope by Scarborough, 2001, page 98 on his book. So, reading is a multifaceted skill gradually acquired over years of instruction and practice. So, ibig sabihin pala, reading is a skill. Okay? Kasi natutunan siya, di ba? Lahat ng mga natutunan is a skill. Okay, yung language comprehension is divided naman to background knowledge, vocabulary, language, verbal, and literacy knowledge. So, word recognition naman is divided into three, that is phonemic awareness, decoding, and sight recognition. So, increasingly strategic, both are increasingly strategic, and that is focused on the skilled reading by Scarborough, 2001. Now, ang ibig sabihin naman ng Tier 1 is core reading instruction. So, it's divided into 4. What are those 4 types? Number 1 is all students included. So, kagaya nga ng sinasabi ko is that yung sabayang pagbasa, all students are included. Diba? Ang isang section, lahat nagbabasa, that is sabayang pagbasa. Now, next naman is uninterrupted time. So, uninterrupted time means wala kang sinusunod na oras or walang makakapag-limit sa'yo ng oras. Like for example, di ba kapag nagbabasa tayo, minsan binibigyan lang tayo ng 20 minutes. So sa uninterrupted time, wala siyang sinusunod na. So means it's a free reading. Next one is small flexible groups. Ang ibig sabihin nito is we are divided into groups. Depende kung ano yung pagkaka-divide sa atin based on maybe characteristics. Like for example, hiwalay natin yung mga babae sa mga lalaki. So dito yung mga babae, dito yung mga lalaki. Pwede din naman na sa age, o dito yung mga 19 years old, dito naman yung mga 17 years old, dito yung mga 16 years old. So, hinahati tayo based on characteristics. Depende kung ano yung gusto ng teacher, for example, or ng facilitator. And last one is data-informed instruction. Ang sinasabi naman sa data-informed instruction is, you are going to use your datas para makapagturo ka ng instruction. Like for example, mahina yung mga students sa reading comprehension. So, ang gagawin ng teacher, kung mahina sila sa reading comprehension, kailangan siya magpabasa ng books. Kailangan siya magpabasa ng stored source. Ibig sabihin ng data-informed instruction is, you are going to use your data para makapag-formulate ka ng instruction. So, which one are the scaffolding instruction? So, small group instruction, ibig sabihin, nag-focus ka lang sa small group, mga small group siya. Next one is task presented in smaller units. Ibig sabihin, kung may naka-assign kang task, so, i-divide mo lang siya sa smaller units. So, pwede mo siyang i-filter na lang to the most essential task. More time is, you extend the time na binibigay mo sa mga students sa pagbabasa. Ibig sabihin naman ng more models is you provide different kinds of models ng pagbabasa or you let them create their own models. For example, graphic organizer or sequencing of ideas, yun, sa mga models. More practice with feedback. Ano ibig sabihin nun? So, ibig sabihin kung halimbawa pinabasa kayo ng books, dapat may feedback yung teacher nyo. Like, for example, sa reading comprehension, tama ba yung mga sinagot nyo? Meron pa bang dapat na improve? May natutunan ba kayo or yung moral lesson na gets nyo ba? Ano pa yung mga room for improvement? Next one is more explicit, more systematic, and more progress monitoring. So, basically, ano lang man to, more systematic way on how you facilitate instruction to your students to actually, at the end of the day, get learning in the teaching learning process. Now, in summary, so we have studied the 5 essential components of reading. First one is the phonemic awareness, which talk about sounds. Next one is the phonics, which talk about alphabetic principle and letters. Next one is fluency, which is all about the skill and how the ability to read. Next one is vocabulary. We study words to increase, academic writing, word knowledge, content knowledge, and words for life. Next one is the text comprehension on how we understand the text that we are reading and we're able to understand what does it imply. So those are the 5 essential components of reading. Now, I'm going to ask you to find a partner and with your partner explain again the 5 essential components of reading instruction. What have you understand and how you are going to apply it in a real life. And next one is you're going to create questions about each component. Now, since this is a virtual online learning and this is recorded, now if you have question, you may reach me through my online account. That is for Gmail. I have here tornesvillaneva@gmail.com, or you can reach me through Facebook by Nestor Candane Villaneva Jr. You can always search it and you can personally message the question if you still have hanging questions into your mind up until the end of our discussion. So that's it. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for the knowledge that you shared to us, Mr. Villanueva.
私は私、あなたはあなたとゆうべ言ってた、そんな気もするわ。グレーのジャケットに見覚えがあるコーヒーのシミ、相変わらずなのね。ショーウィンドウに二人映れば Stay with me 真夜中のドア叩き帰らないでと泣いたあの季節が今目の前 Stay with me 口癖を言いながら二人の時を抱いてまだ忘れず大事にしていた恋と愛とは違うものだよとゆうべ言われたそんな気もするわ二度目の冬が来て離れていたあなたの心振り返ればいつもそこにあなたを感じていたの Stay with me 真夜中のドアを叩き帰らないでと泣いたあの季節が今目の前
Our next speaker is a valedictorian graduate from Ocampo National High School and currently taking Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English. Let's welcome Miss Jana Angel A. Tadiran. Please give her a virtual applause.
acknowledge Miss Jana.
I can almost see it, the dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My fate is shaking, but I gotta keep trying. Gotta keep